Hey there, welcome to the Path of Exile 2 stream. This is Kermit the Streamer, and here is the thing. So I got in a little bit while I was away. I didn't want to record this because it was a lot of like deliberating and stuff. But I do want to go over the changes I made real quick. So I did switch over to increase minion life rather than spell damage here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going more directly towards minion life, and we're going to be prioritizing. I had already mentioned timers as a thing because I did a little bit more research, and I thought that maybe your different types of minions would have their own timers, but no, sure enough, all of your minions. So if one minion dies, your timer is 7 seconds. Then if another minion dies in that time period, in that 7 seconds, then all of your minions do not respawn. So you're left with the ones that you have. So the best things you can do if you're going to be doing a minion based build is make it to where your minions don't die very often, for one, and then also work on increasing your revive time. So that means we're going to prioritize minion life and minion revive time. Minions are going to die less often, theoretically, because they have more life, and when they do die, it's going to take less time for them to come back. So we're gonna try to get over here to this node as quick as we can, and I think our path to that, we've talked about it before, but I think our path to that is through the cast speed over here, and then we'll come up and grab this max life too, and then we'll head on through the attribute highway right here over to this one over here. And we'll probably grab all of these little things here, especially this. We really like this 40% increased maximum life, and the increased 10% life recovery rate, meaning that they regenerate a little better, more quickly too. So there's that in the talent tree. Those are our first priorities. We've got Gravedigger, Living Death, and eventually we'll make it over here to Restless Dead too. I think that's going to be the long-term goal. I think this is our shortest, our quick time goal. This is our next one, and then over here is the one after that. We also get some other things like resistances over here too. And then from there, I'm not sure what we'll do from there. We'll figure it out. There's lots of minion stuff. I was looking at this earlier on one of my other characters. Just overall boosting our minions will be pretty easy to do because there's just so much of it in the tree. And then we also made some adjustments to our skill gems, our skeletal warriors. Instead of making them blow up when they're near death, we're boosting their survivability. We're going to give them more life. They're going to be way more tankier from Meat Shield here. Then we're going to also do Last Gasp, which extends their life for 4 seconds after they're quote unquote killed. And again, that's in service of saying, well, instead of having minions constantly dying and constantly resetting my timer, we're going to prolong that as much as possible. So we're working from both ends of the minion revive problem. We're making our minions survive longer, and then we're also making it, ideally, once we get there, so that when they die, it takes less time for them to come back. Then we changed our unearth, I think, we put the minion instability on those minions. Those minions are temporary anyway. After, 12 seconds, they go away. So if they're dying and exploding and doing extra damage, that's great. We're going to lose them anyway. They're expendable. So let's use an expendable support gem on those. Contagion, we just boosted the duration on Contagion just so that it ticks a little bit more. The main use I see for Contagion is as an energy shield eater, and also just a great dot to stick on bosses and things that take a little bit longer to kill. We've got our Flame Wall. This is so that now that we've got our Skeletal Arsonist online, we're going to throw this Flame Wall up around our Skeletal Arsonist, basically in between the Skeletal Arsonists and the targets, because anything that the Skeletal Arsonist does will be increased when they pass, when their projectiles pass through the Flame Wall. So we've added Fortress, which makes it a circle, Magnified Effect, which makes it a little bit of a bigger circle. We're still running Essence Drain. This is probably not going to be permanent, but it's the best thing I have right now. We gave it the ability to inflict bleeding, which just is another small ailment style, I think. Damage over time. Yeah, it's an ailment. And the way bleeding works is kind of the same way poison works. The amount of damage you deal affects the scaling on that bleed, and it's just a little extra damage over time. We're not looking to do anything crazy with that. We have increased its duration a little bit. Actually, this is increasing the primary ailment that Essence Drain does. And it actually limits the amount of damage that the bleeding does. The bleeding is just extra. That may not even be the best thing to stick on this, but I was just looking for something to do. And then our skeletal arsonists, they are our primary thing. We were using our archers, and we were trying to combine with like gas cloud to do cool stuff. It just turns out that I think the math tells us, I think, that the arsonists do a lot more for us. They do have an ability that we can use to blow up our minions too. We may see use on our boss fights a lot more for that, because again, we really don't want our minions to die unless they have to, but we can use this all day. We use this explosive demise on the unearthed constructs all day if we need to. And then we're also just giving them those skeletal arsonists scatter shot just to make sure that they're pumping out loads of explosive rounds. Basically takes their one grenade and splits it into 3, makes each one do a little bit less damage. It just guarantees that everything is going to get caught up in that blast, and since we're going to be enhancing the damage just a little bit with Firewall, Flame Wall, we should be just in a better position for just doing general clearing and doing everything that our character wants to do with sowing chaos upon the battlefield. Alright, so we're going to the Hunting Grounds. Let's see, we finished yesterday, or last time, we finished Cemetery of the Eternals. We got all that finished, so we actually just opened up the Hunting Grounds. So this is going to be a great place to both level and grab a boss that is here that does something good for us. I forget exactly what. The big thing that we are looking for and excited about right now in our skill tree, or in our skill support gems, is we want to get to raiding spirits. I'm going to pop that up real quick. Oh, I guess I can't do it from here. I'll pop it up at a certain point. What that basically does is it gives us these skeletal skulls that spring out of our firewalls and will help attack bad guys. And I've gotten this before on my Necromancer. It was just an insane jump to my overall DPS. There are also temporary minions like the Bone Constructs, but they do such good damage so quickly. So at least through most of Act 1, they should be a fine add for I'm not even using my flame walls right now. Let's start trying to use those. That's the thing. One of the things about this game, and I don't think it's a thing to be critical about, but you feel really good, I personally do anyway, in the early game with just about all characters. I'd say the only character that early game is a Slav for is the warrior, which is kind of funny because if you think about traditional RPGs, the warrior classes tend to be the ones that are designed for combat, and they do better and move quicker through combat style encounters. But in this game, because you have to run up to everything, and also because even though you're more resilient, you are putting yourself in harm's way a lot more. Like, it is harder to progress. Now, and maybe some people that are better at it, but I found that I really only enjoy the melee classes. First, the range classes in this kind of game, because of how difficult playing as a melee character can be in a game where all the enemies hit like trucks and just keep you up. stages. What else to talk about? Nothing interesting. I really like how this build is going so far, and I'm glad I made those changes. It's not apparent yet how much they're really affecting the game. This is early enough in the game that really what you do. It's pretty easy. I am trying to do. I started another witch just to try a different, sort of more experimental build. That's relying on all fun spells. And I gotta say, the problem I've got with it so far is that it does take quite a while before it gets online. The exciting thing about the bone abilities for the Necromancer is when you get, I think it's called bone splinters. It basically works like Hebo Fusillade from Sorceress. It gives you a bunch of bone missiles that you can kind of collect and release as an attack. It does an insane amount of physical damage. It's an amazing spell, but you don't really get access to it until or something like that. I believe before you can even turn it on, you've got to have a skill gem. And if you're playing, like most of us seem to, you're not holding a lot of skill gems until you get into your fifth character or something. Well, you're very greedy to use those skill gems in this game, because every skill gem that you use is an ability that you get to add to your character. Alright, so we are going along this track, I think. Go ahead and increase our overall damage for all of our stuff. I'm going to go with that first of the minion lives. Oh yeah, that's right. We are going to go through the, I think the spell cast speed node, but I do think that picking up that 10% bonus was our first step. One of the things I've also been doing a lot with my various builds is just being willing to refund skills a bit more, especially if I come across a spot that's giving me trouble. I go, well, why am I having trouble? And if I can, I'll look at the tree real quick and go, well, I can take away from this piece and shift this over there. You know, let's say I'm having trouble because the boss keeps throwing me down by the one shot. Well, I can temporarily switch one of my offensive skills for a more defensive one that makes my energy shield stronger or recharge better, just so I can make it to where I can survive some of those attacks from the bosses. And you know, if you're using a character like this one that thrives on damage over time and attrition, then boosting your survivability goes a long way towards allowing what you're trying to do anyway to work. Give it time to work. And feel free to experiment. Like, one of the reasons, I've probably said this before, but one of the reasons they put all those attribute nodes throughout the tree is those are the ones that you're going to be grabbing, like, temporarily all the time. You're going to go, well, I don't have 10 points to get over to this thing I really want, so for now I'm going to do the best thing for my character and, boost my survivability with the strength node, or look at the gear that I want to equip, and I go, oh, I'm missing enough intelligence to use this really cool wand. I'll go ahead and put the points into this wand, because the nodes you really want usually come with a stat bonus. So, like, your best nodes, some of my best witch nodes, have an intelligence buff on them as well. And so there's going to be a time, when I'm level 12, where I really need intelligence to equip an item. So I'll go over there, spend 1 point on my intelligence node, and then when I'm level 16 or so, Well, I can reach that other node if I just refund a couple of points earlier on. And so I get all those things that I wanted, and I have like a seamless utility on the things that I need, like earlier in the game when I need them. Like the access to a better weapon early versus just waiting for the right combination of my gear and my skills to get me that. I forget what level this character is right now, but we're gonna see real quick if I can get some. If I can't get a cool ability that I'm really looking for, then I may get bone splinters real quick just to kind of show it off. We're only level 11, so yeah. We're probably just going to boost one of our existing spells. Mental. Okay, yeah, we'll boost our unearth. That makes each one of our little bone constructs stronger too. So how can I be? There's the inherent value proposition there. Is it doing something for everything that we do? Yeah, we decided. I do think I am going to go back to using a wand scepter combo, but I think I'm going to wait until I have an ability on the wand that I want to use.
Yes, please. Oh, I like this one.
And until that time, we'll just go ahead and keep using the focus. Although this particular focus is not anything special. We definitely want to get to something more useful soon.
It seems
And then let's do a quick check of our items here. Rattling scepter.
Yes.
Can we buy a better rattling scepter?
Fun of my collection, but
So we're at level 2. Ooh, I like going all the way up to level 4. You get just massive bonuses
I can let that one go.
to your guys when you go up a level in the skill. I think I've already shown that before, but what are we doing? Let's get rid of that. Go away! Oh, I see. We're still in the dialogue window.
Haunt us both.
What were we getting? Dang, we were getting strength from that scepter. Okay.
Yes.
How much strength do we need? We just need 3 more.
Hello.
Okay.
These are just some odds and ends. Oh, I like this one. Goodbye.
And go look at. Can we,
I must keep calculating.
What are we needing dexterity for? There was a piece I remember that we needed dexterity for. We'll switch it to strength and see what happens. Yeah, it was our boots. Okay. So yeah, we'll take off here. We'll go to here. And this is, I think, what these nodes are for. They're for the temporary use of being able to equip and stay with some of the stuff that you need, be it items or support gems. The one thing I don't like about that happening, doing it that way, is you run into the problem I just ran into, where you unequip something that's doing something vital that you need to do, and it's really unfortunate when that's the case. Now, one thing I want to look into is, I don't know if you've got the second weapon slot equipped, if some of the other bonuses on your weapon apply when it's not equipped. I would assume not, but that's an interesting question to look into later. I did start playing with this on that new necromancer that I built, because it's a build that requires a crossbow to apply some armor piercing effects, so that your bone spells, which deal physical damage, get a damage bonus from the fact that they're attacking armor broken targets. But I haven't really done poking around under the hood to see whether it really does its thing or not. When you've got items, at least in the secondary slot there. Iron walls, damage. See, the thing I like about this game, one of them anyway, is that you can either like lean heavily into whatever it is you're doing. Like, let's say I was a flame mage or a bone mage, then you can do all those things and just lean hard into that. Or you can kind of diversify a little bit and you know, like this build is basically going to be doing all sorts of different types of damage. It's going to be doing chaos damage in the form of the contagion. It's going to be doing a lot of fire damage in the form of arsonist and firewall. Our unearthed constructs are going to be doing physical damage. At some point we'll probably get some zombies. There I didn't really find anything that I wanted to do with that skill gem. I'm waiting to try and get my next actual... So that was a support gem, sorry. I'm waiting to get my next skill before I use another support gem. We're kind of tapped out on some of our gems anyway. Like, we can't do any more... How do I find that out? Oh yeah. We can only do one more intelligence gem anyway. And I'm not aware of any intelligence supports that I can do at level 1 yet. There are a bunch at level 2 that I really want on the abilities that I already have. But anything that I can really slot in right now will be one thing I should do, that I'll do at a later time, I've got my flame wall map to the level Q, which is not terribly hard, but sometimes I run into the trouble of hitting tab instead of Q. And I would just so much more better like it if I stuck that on one of my like non-primary mouse buttons. Like I have one that's on your thumb on there. That would be a really good one, I think, to stick Flame Wall on and make me cast it a lot more than I do. I'm going to lay down some firewalls. They're going to be the key way we help keep the damage train in these bosses. It's also really good, I think, to get that essence drain up, because that's another damage over time. Will help bring down that minion life, or boss life in this case. This boss, he basically has kind of 3 stages. The first stage where you fight him and he runs off, and he comes here, he fights you here in a smaller sort of like cage match fashion, because you don't have as much room to run around. And he's a very high damage boss, so obviously I got myself completely stomped. Dang, we have a high energy shield too. That's a higher energy shield than I usually have at this stage of the game. So he is hitting really hard. I cast firewall and it's enemy. I noticed the game does that every once in a while. You've done a thing and it doesn't. It's either slow to provide the animation or it just neglects. I was having that happen a lot with my bone attack. Okay, so I gotta stay away from him for a minute, let my energy shield recharge. Because the big thing is his smash there is kind of an AoE. I think that's what I've got me. I stay straight too close to him at a point where he can already eat my energy shield. He grabs that bell, runs away, and goes and finds another zone that bell allows him to kind of thwack at you. In the next version of this fight right here, we have a little bit more room. I really like the battlefields that give us kind of a circular area to run around in. You know, circles and squares, essentially the same thing in terms of gameplay, but that other one was really tight. Thin corridor. This is much better for kind of really useful when you're playing with the ranger and the characters to have an arena that's like that. Ooh, we got our first set of weapon passives. That's great. We'll go ahead and boost our essence drain since that's our primary damage dealer at the moment. We got a bunch of items, so now's a great time to go back to town. So what we're going to do here is we'll try to go up and do the Freythorn boss as well. Then we'll call it quits for this particular video. We didn't level up, did we? I wasn't paying attention. Too busy yapping. Oh yeah, that's right. We got our skill points. So if we get dexterity or strength, I do think we get access to another support gem. But I do think we really need to initiate this plan to get over here to the Minion Life. And we definitely don't want to go to manual regeneration. I do think there's a point. I would not be surprised if before release they bring down the mana regeneration numbers. The problem is I think there's going to be a lot of outcry from the player base about that. Because, let's face it, it's not fun to be waiting for your mana bar or to be having to activate both, like to monitor your life and your mana. But we'll see what happens with that. I would not be the least bit surprised if they make it to where classes really need to be mashing that button for mana regeneration a lot more, or choosing mana regeneration talents. I've really only had that be a problem on the mercenary, at times the ranger, and on the monk for sure. I would run out of mana a lot. And interestingly enough, at least on the early game, for the warrior. But these intelligence-based classes, like, I don't think I've ever heard the sorceress say she was out of mana, because other than like maybe the one time you first get the new most powerful spell that's super mana intensive. But other than that, like, just playing through the game, mana's never been an issue with my caster classes. And only occasionally a lot of times it's just, for me, it's just been whenever I've not been playing effectively, like whenever I've been casting the most mana-intensive spell that's not actually even hitting targets. So it's more of a skill issue to use. People on about in chat. That's ridiculous. Alright, let's see. Yeah, we were going to try to go to Freythorn. That's right. What I'm going to do real quick though, I'll go ahead and come into the farmlands and just tap the waypoint. That way, instead of having to come search through this zone later, I've got the waypoint already triggered. Is there a waypoint? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So we'll head back to the other area there and do Freythorn. The only thing that's lame about that is that, you know, I have, at least on my machine, I have the biggest wait time I have is usually between zones. Hopefully that's a thing that they work on. I know that there was a point where it was kind of like that for Diablo 2, and then they fixed that. And I haven't played Diablo 4 enough to know whether that's even an issue from there. Or I do feel like I remember a startup time on that. Really long, just the point where it's all menus and all that. And this game has that too. Nothing you can really do about that. Oh boy, are we crashing? What's going on? Oh, that's the first time I've had that happen. We crashed. How about that? There's my desktop, everybody. Lots of stuff on there. A lot of extra games on there because I play stuff with my kids. Okay, so we died in the middle. Well, we blew up right as we leveled up. I could just pause the video here. Eventually I should get to the point where I can edit out weird things like this. So I like to keep the videos around half an hour to 45 minutes. But I also like to hit certain milestones whenever I record, so our milestone right now is trying to finish the Freythorn zone. If we don't get there, we'll do it next time. What time is it? Yeah, we might not finish Freythorn. But hopefully, we'll get it done. Hopefully. Alright. Okay, so good. We're not in the middle of a protracted engagement here. I was worried that I'd come back and just immediately get one-shot by something. So yeah, we get our other cast speed bonus here. Nice thing here is we're going to get a nice bump to our intelligence. That's probably going to allow us the ability to buy some of our newer skills. And then we'll get our increased life nodes. Now, if I could, which I might be able to. Let's see. No, I would refund this guy and get us here, but we're still depending on that dexterity so that we can equip something. Oops. Ascension, dude. Guy's asking how he can get Infernal ST. That's a question that you ask when you're new to the game. If you're wondering the answer to that question, that is your first ascension. You have to complete successfully the first trial of the Sekimus, and that is hard to do. And it's harder to do in certain classes. Like I can't even imagine how you do it. I think you just don't get the ascendancy that early, because the way it works is, when you're going for your ascendancy, you've got this, instead of having your life, well no, you still have your life and animation and all that stuff, but you also have honor, which is basically like you can't touch this kind of thing. You can't take damage while you do the trial. So some of the trials, that's easy. You're just running around tapping waypoints and things. You can get through something like that very easy without having fights and without taking any damage. But some of them, the whole goal of it is to kill a boss or avoid traps and things. And when you're having to do that and you're not allowed to take any damage, it's damn near impossible. It was super easy with the rangers because you've got a lot of evasion. So a lot of times when you mess up and you're going to get hit, your evasion's going to allow you to just dodge. But on every other class, I find it pretty difficult. I I do think it's fun. I'm not one of the people that would complain and say it's not fun. But admittedly, since you can go back and try again, and since you have to go back and try again if you feel, it can get tedious. All you're trying to do is get to the really fun stuff of the character, which is your detour on what your character does, the ascension. This will probably go faster if I'm wondering if this right up here is my Freythorn. Probably go faster if I were actually kind of focusing on not just wandering around killing things. Problem is, I also want experience, and I want levels, and I also want cool items and stuff. I'm pretty well equipped at the moment, I feel. Here we go. There it is, Freythorn. Hey Kira, you playing? What is that? Your car is packed with stuffies.
There's an immensely disturbing energy here. Time to seek it out.
There's a new song. Gonna have to start charging for parking. I wonder if you send the spikes through the fire, if they do. No, you think they do. Okay. Because they're not projectiles, that's right. The flame wall is actually really good.
In the light tower.
The flame wall is really good. The toolkit tells you what kind of attacks beam power, and it's going to be hard to project them.
Are you recording?
Yeah, I'm recording. So the way this whole sequence works is that there's 3 of these totems up here in this little tree fort that these guys have set up, and you gotta go find them all, and then you get a boss. And what's going to happen to us right now is we're gonna try to summon that boss. He is pretty hard, unfortunately, and we may or may not be ready to take it. I think our skill setup is such that we should have an easy time of it. The problem with him is that twofold. He's pretty decent. He's challenging enough. It's called the King of the Mists. The main thing is that once he dies, or once he's near death, he becomes this giant thing that is has all of his abilities plus one, and it's also very tanky and hard to kill. And by the time you get to that second phase, you've probably used up all of your flasks, and because of that, that part of it is very unforgiving. If you mess up or get hit at the wrong time, then you're dead, and you have to start all over. This is compounded by the fact that both versions of that boss have little, like, I don't know, 2 to 3 second stun that just will hit you every once in a while. And, you know, sometimes you get lucky and he'll hit you with that stun, and then he doesn't smack you with an ability right after he kills you. But other times that stun will get you, and right when he is about to fire off an ability. Definitely a case of skill issue again, probably. There are ways that you can kind of, when you know the stun is coming, you can be like, okay, I'm gonna run away a little bit. And I have been. I've been able to do that successfully at times, but you know, sometimes in the middle of a boss fight, you're so excited by it that you forget you need to pay attention to things like that. That is definitely a thing I'm guilty of, and also, as you have seen on my video series, when I'm yapping, my attention is divided, and I often get myself killed in silly ways because I'm too busy talking about something. When I should be dodge rolling or something like that. Alright, let's see. We've got some yellows, so let's go identify things. Ooh, this is a good crossbow. If I was doing the crossbow thing, that's one of the things you want is that grants life per enemy hit. At least with the Necromancer build I was building, I was running armor-piercing rounds, which is like a Gatling gun style effect, and it's rapid fire. Normally the crossbow attacks are very slow, but it's always great to upgrade your flask right before a boss fight. Normally the crossbow attacks are really slow, so that grants 2 life per hit would kind of not really do much for you all the time. But when you're doing a rapid fire ability like that, you're getting that 2 life every time, and that's actually, you know, that basically translates into 2 life per second, or even better than that, really. And that's pretty doggone good.
I've collected these over time.
Then all you're really worried
like
about
this one.
is a you know, a high damage smack. Yeah, so one of the things I look for in flasks is the gain charge when you kill an enemy, or the persistent,
Goodbye.
you know, 0.15 charge per second style ability, because then it's like a secondary life pool that's regenerating at its own rate. That's really good. All right, let's go back, pick up some cool stuff hopefully, and try to finish the Freythorn zone. That focus may be something we are temporarily excited about. Do we have, oh no, we gave away all of our stuffy stuff. The reason why I care about searching these baskets is the game really likes to stick orbs and things in those. And those are just so super useful. Likes to put both skill orbs and things like regal orbs and stuff that just keep whatever items that you're using effective way longer. Ooh. Must be some powerful guys right here. Oh good, we're almost gonna level up. That's the most exciting time! Level up time! I gotta tell you, I have been watching some of the information on the Civilization series, Civilization 7, coming out in a few weeks. There are going to be some videos on my channel about Civilization 7. Assuming we really get it here. We may not actually get it for a while. I'm also excited about Little Nightmares 3, but I don't know when that's going to come out. I was hoping that it was also going to come out in February, but I don't see any press saying that they're looking anywhere near ready to release it. I was also really hoping they just did a big patch for this game, and it supposedly made some things with melee classes a little bit better. I don't know if it actually will, and I don't know if it's actually applied yet as of this time. But I was hoping that they would be releasing, like, that they just were being coy and they didn't tell us that they were going to be giving us some more classes. I really want to play a druid. I really want to see what the shadow can do. It I was hoping that they were going to give us a little New Year surprise and throw another class our way, but doesn't look like it for now. Like, I really think it would be really good for them to just do one class every couple of months, but it is super important to not put a thing in the game that's not really working or is in some way broken. So I get why they haven't done that. And one of the things that seems to be happening so far is that while there is a lot of overlap, which isn't a problem, you don't want a class to play like too similarly to another class that's already. The exception I'd say to that is they do have some space in this game for some more melee class or more kind of martial weapon focused classes, and you know, it looks like they have plans for that, so I'd say right now, just from all the play experience I've had so far, this game is very heavily weighted. I'm biased. I would say that even if it weren't true, probably. Because I favor that kind of playstyle anyway, so naturally my experience with the game, because of how much time I've spent playing it, would lead me to that conclusion. But I do think, like, honestly, I do think that if you were to poll the number of players this game has and ask them the question, you know, was the game easy to play with? I mean, nobody would say that it is.
I think not.
So we did find the totem where the boss was going to spawn, but we haven't found one of the other totems, one of the other ritual totems that we have to clear first before
Death and decay.
before that guy come and have a party. One of the things that we may actually do with this build is we may eventually, and as a matter of fact we probably are going to, we're going to be getting rid of contagion actually. That's one of the other reasons why it was good that we went away from some of the nodes that we had. Because our long-term plan is to move away from that kind of damage. We're going to be getting sort of the same kind of effect from the Raging Spirits in a way. It's just going to be more natural damage instead of chaos damage. Well, I do love chaos damage for the amount of energy shield that it eats, and it is pretty useful. It's one of the less resisted against damage types through most of the game. For progression, I think that tapping into that extra fire power that we're going to get in the close term will be good. It'll help us get through this. And while I'm not a person that you try to race through this game, that you min-max it, and then you try to get through it at the fastest speed possible. I was gonna say, you had that's the thing. Prioritize one. Hey Laura, how you doing? Oh yeah, I bet. 28 degrees. I just had a friend show up to do this boss fight, and then we gotta quit. we got guests. Yeah, we're not having too hard a time with it. Our minions are doing great. Like, there's our first minion death right there. So I'm really liking how this works, because even this, at this stage of the game, what I was noticing, even like the Cemetery of the Eternal bosses and stuff that we fought with the old build, the minions were dying a lot. And now they're not. Like, I'll get one guy dead right there. Second guy died right there when we had 3 seconds left for a respawn. And now he is actually chewing through our arsonist. There's that stun that I was talking about. But yeah, I would say that our minions are contributing much more than I'm used to seeing, even at this phase of the game. I'm not bringing this boss down as quick as I should be because I'm talking. But I think Essence Drain, getting those Essence Drain hits here is the thing that will bring them down faster than I'm doing. And you just want to also keep your DOTs applied. You want to keep throwing those firewalls up. And yeah, that's actually the easiest I've ever had with that boss. Easiest experience. This one gives you this Gem Bloom Skull, which is amazing. That's your first spirit ability. We don't really need any of this crap. Nope, we don't need that. We don't want a shield. We'll go ahead and take an Exalted Orb. This one, so this boss gives you like some points. I don't know how you gain tribute exactly, but that's what you get. You get to buy, basically to buy something from him. We got our Gem Bloom Skull. That's going to give us spirit. And what do we want? What we're looking for... I'm not sure what we want. I think Wither is fine. Let's see what Wither does. Increases the amount of chaos damage. We're not actually going to be dealing with a lot of chaos damage. Grim Feast. Grim Feast. Grim Feast. Can we get Pain Offering? Is that a thing? I'm not sure. Well, we're going to make that decision later. We'll call this video quits. And, ooh, I do want to pick up that yellow item. I'd be finishing up with the town portion of this, but I got a guest, so I gotta head out. Alright, thanks for joining me. If you have any suggestions, comments, make sure to leave them in the comments, and please like and subscribe. There'll be more content to come later. Thank you, I'm Kermit, the streamer.